Let's talk about a girl named Ellie. Ellie is a very sweet sixth grader. She's a bit on the shy side, pretty soft-spoken, and she always has her nose in a book. Now, on what might seem like a very typical day in sixth grade, Ellie was sitting at her desk. She was focusing on her schoolwork, well, mostly focusing on her schoolwork. She was also daydreaming about her crush in the other class named Alex. And then something happened that turned this seemingly ordinary day into something a little bit more exciting and extraordinary. The classroom door swung open, and guess who's standing there in the doorway? Alex, her crush. So Ellie immediately notices Alex standing there. And the teacher says that apparently Alex is going to be switching into her sixth grade class. Okay, pause. This is where the action starts to unfold in Ellie's brain, which is a place that I like to call the City of Brainville. So let's take a closer look at what's happening in Ellie's City of Brainville when Alex swings open the door and is standing there in the doorway. First off, meet Thalamus. Thalamus noticed Alex immediately when he walked in the door. How he looks, the sound of his voice, the smell of his Axe body spray. All of those details that you can pick up on with your five senses. And Thalamus immediately delivers that information to the rest of the citizens in Brainville, to all those other brain parts. So then there's Amy, the amygdala. Amy the amygdala is a citizen in Brainville that's kind of like the mama bear protector. She's all about protection, and she's very quick to react. She's always looking out for Ellie. And really her job is to make sure that Ellie's staying safe. So when Amy the amygdala gets that update from Thalamus that Alex walked in the door and he's standing there in the doorway, Amy the amygdala immediately does a threat assessment. In fact, if you take a moment to blink, Amy the amygdala is already on that threat assessment at 4 times the speed of that blink. So she's really trying to make sure that Ellie's safe. But Amy doesn't do it alone. She goes over and knocks on her friend's door. His name is Hippo the hippocampus. And you can think of Hippo as a wise old man who's always making meaning out of everything. And so Hippo does a little Google search through all of Ellie's past memories in order to frame and label Ellie's current experience with Alex in the context of what's happened in her past, all of her past experiences and memories. Now, once Amy and Hippo are done with that threat assessment in the Google search, they both call up their friend Ant. And that's short for anterior cingulate cortex, but he just likes to go by Ant. You can think of him as like the editor of a newsroom. So he gets to decide what pieces of information from that Google search get the headline. So he's really spotlighting the most important information in order to help all the brain parts focus on what's really most important here, what really needs to get all of the attention. So now, Ellie has all of these characters. She has Thalamus and Amy and Hippo and Ant helping her figure out what to do. They're kind of running around in the city of Brainville. And from that, she has 2 potential outcomes. If Amy the amygdala, the mama bear protector inside of her, thinks that everything's cool, everything's calm, there's no need to worry, there's no threat, then Ellie enters her chill mode. And that's when her prefrontal cortex, her cool, calm, collected planner part of her, steps in, and Ellie might even find herself feeling confident enough to smile at Alex, or she might even approach him after class, or maybe she'll think of a cute way of starting a conversation with him. But what happens when Amy the amygdala senses even the slightest little bit of a threat, whether Ellie's actually in danger or not? Then Ellie's Brainville is going to shift into a subtle survival mode, and she might start to feel anxious or shy, or maybe even want to go hide. And that's her brain's job of protecting her from perceived danger, like humiliation or vulnerability. But Ellie's got a secret skill that no other kid in her class knows. And that's something called the havening touch. So if Ellie starts to notice that her Brainville characters are putting her in that survival mode, if she starts to feel all of those big emotions like anxiety, or maybe she's pulling back or feeling a little shy, then what she does is she just gently rubs her palms together, or she rubs her arms, giving herself that moving hug. And that tells all those parts in her Brainville that they can calm down, especially Amy, her mama bear. It's telling her, hey Amy, I'm good, I'm safe, there's no need to worry. So when Ellie uses the havening touch, she's directly influencing how her brain is functioning in that moment. And she's working with those very primal brain parts in her Brainville in order to create that sense of safety and to shift her response. So what can you learn from Ellie's day at school? Well, all of those emotions, those reactions, the excitement, the nerves, that's really just Ellie's brain being a brain, doing its thing, trying to figure stuff out, trying to keep her safe. But by knowing this, Ellie's empowered because she really gets that she can handle her brain's reactions. And in fact, she can even steer them into a empowering, resilient direction by allowing all those parts of her brain to feel safe and supported. And what happened in Ellie's brain isn't just unique to her. We all have those characters inside of us. We all have our own Brainville with a thalamus, with our Amy, with a hippo, and with an ant. We all have these characters working behind the scenes in our own Brainville. And these parts of us are constantly communicating with each other. They're always interacting, making decisions, and trying to help us navigate our world in a way that keeps us safe. So think about how this might apply to you. Maybe you've had times where it feels tough to step back from all the hustle and the bustle in your own city of Brainville. Maybe, in fact, you find yourself caught up in worry or in self-critical thoughts or spiraling in those depleting emotions, maybe even stewing in them like a bathtub. And that's normal. I do that too sometimes. Welcome to being human. And it's so important to make a sincere attempt to practice self-compassion. It's important for us to understand that these reactions, they're natural. They're from very primal parts of our brain, so it's not something to beat ourselves up about. Again, it's just our brain being a brain trying to keep us safe. And we're empowered, we're at choice, because we have the choice now, we have the tools to mellow out our own Brainville. We don't have to stay in that hustle and bustle just like Ellie did. She took the opportunity to create that sense of safety and calm. So here are 2 questions that you can ask your Amy the amygdala, your fierce mama bear protector who loves you so much so that sometimes she goes a little too far to try and keep you safe. These are 2 questions that you can ask her. Question number 1 is, what are you trying to protect me from? This question helps you to understand the fears and the challenges that Amy's triggered by, that trigger her protective instincts. And question number 2, once you know what she's protecting you from, you can ask her, what do you need to feel safe and supported and relaxed? And this question's all about finding out what really soothes your Amy and reassures her, with the understanding that this can create an environment, a supportive environment in your brain where your Amy feels secure, allowing the both of you to take the back seat and to respond more calmly by allowing your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that reasons and makes decisions, to take the driver's seat. And the really cool part is you can actually soothe and reassure your Amy after you've asked her those questions. And you do that by applying the havening touch. And this is really just a gentle way of soothing and reassuring your Amy again, just letting her know, hey Amy, it's okay, you're safe. And you're sending those calming signals, those feel-good chemicals, serotonin, GABA, oxytocin, to those primal parts of your brain to help ease them in moments of high alert. So to get started, I have tons of havening videos and guided meditations and practices on my channel, some of which I'll actually link here below and up at the top. And this is where you can begin to start your practice and to navigate your emotions and reactions even more effectively. And if this video was helpful for you, please consider hitting that subscribe button or visiting mayakogan.com if you'd like some one-on-one support, if you feel like you have any deeper limiting beliefs or emotions or patterns, feel free to visit mayakogan.com and contact me through there. And thank you so much for spending this time with me. I honor you for taking the time to invest in your own well-being, and I'll see you in another video. Bye-bye.